Oh. We shall see how Karna played a role and an important event in the Mahabharata, the marriage of Draupadi Swayamvaram. We are all aware that Pandavas were put in Varanavatam in a lacquer house, and the house was burnt, expecting that the Pandavas and the Kunti will be burned to death. But it did not happen. Pandavas escaped. But this was not known to the entire world and to the public and all the kings. Everybody believed that Pandavas were dead. Kauravas were happy, Duryodhana was more happy, and the Karna was also extremely happy that all the Pandavas were exterminated, burned to death. But some of the seniors who knew the chivalry, prowess, and the righteousness of the Pandavas, in the heart of their heart, they believed that they would not have been burnt. They would have got escaped. With the blessings and the grace of the God, Pandavas would have been survived. This was the feeling, and that came true. Panchala Desha Drupada and his son Dushtadyumna and the daughter Draupadi grown up, and Drupada has announced a Swayamvara for the Draupadi's marriage. Hundreds of kings from various corners of the land landed in Panchala. There are many people who also came to see, witness the Swayamvara. In that, Krishna, Balarama, and the Yadukula, they were also there. They decided not to participate but to witness as visitors. And a beautiful Ranga Mandapa was built, and a yantra, a machine, was put on the top, in which a target fish will be moving. 5 arrows were put, and a strong bow was kept. And Dushtadyumna, the brother of Draupadi, brought her in the assembly and announced, there are 5 arrows, there is a bow. Whosoever hits the target by looking its image below and hits the target which is on the top, my sister Draupadi will marry him. And he introduced most of the kings, princes in Mahabharata. A list has been given. All the Kauravas, Karna, Shalya, and so many other kings and princes. One by one came, tried, could not succeed. But in the same assembly, the 5 Pandavas also were there. In incognito, in a Brahmin's uniform. Nobody could recognize them. This is also very interesting. Even though Pandavas are present with a changed dress and a uniform, nobody could recognize them. The same thing happens later on in the Mahabharata, in the Virata Parvam, on the last 13th year. Here also nobody could recognize them. They just came and sat among the Brahmins. Nobody doubted, nobody recognized, nobody knew, unrecognized, unnoticed. They were just sitting. One after the other, the kings, the princes, young, old, strong, all came. Even Duryodhana tried. He failed. He could not hit or even lift the bow and tied its thread to it, the string. He fell down. Finally, Karna got up. This is a very important event and episode in Mahabharatam. When Karna came forward, went round the bow and bowed it, Draupadi announced. She said that I will not marry a Sutaputra. Hearing her loud voice, declaration, Karna left it. Mahabharata doesn't say that he was insulted. Vyasa never mentioned, did not mention that Karna felt insulted. He just kept the bow there and went back. Then we know how Arjuna came forward, lifted it, hit the target, and then Yudhishthira, Dharmaraja, along with Nakula and Sahadeva, left the assembly, and there was a tremendous commotion that how the daughter of a king, Drupada, can be given in marriage to a Brahmin. Lot of commotion. The kings, princes, the rajas felt insulted. They were angry. And with anger, they wanted to fight with Drupada and take away the Draupadi. With their anger, strength and power, everybody prepared with their own instruments, readied themselves to fight in a war. In that, we should remember, all the Kauravas also were there. Shalya was there, Duryodhana, Karna. They all dressed themselves into a soldier's uniform, took up their arrows, bows, maces, swords, and charged on the Drupadas and Drishtadyumna. Only Arjuna and Bhima stood against them, challenging. Arjuna took the same bow with which he hit the target. And there was intense, tremendous fight between Arjuna, Bhima, and entire assembly of the kings and the princes. All the Kauravas were there. We should remember, Karna was injured, could not face the prowess, chivalry, the strength and the power of the Arjuna's arrows. He ran away from there. Literally gave up the war, fight, ran away. Later, Shalya was insulted by Bhima. Mahabharata describes Bhima lifted Shalya and dropped him on the floor. All the kings, princes were defeated. Duryodhana also left. This is an incident, an important incident, an event. Kauravas do not know that there are Pandavas, and the Pandavas knew that there are Kauravas. Karna do not know that he was fighting with Arjuna. In fact, Karna says that a Brahmana addressing Arjuna, nobody can face me, but the skill, the mastery, and the chivalry you are presenting in the form of archery, there can only be three people who can fight with me. It is Arjuna, Bhishma, Drona, and of course Sri Krishna. But you are a Brahmana. These words are uttered by Karna himself. Unable to face the wrath of Arjuna in the form of Brahmana, Karna lost the fight, left the war, and ran away from there. Many people compare the chivalry of Karna and Arjuna. A lot of discussions we find. But this is one incident we have seen earlier also, that Karna nowhere matches near the chivalry of Arjuna. There was a dispersal, went back. Later on, everyone knew that Pandavas were not dead, they were alive. And those people in the form of the Brahmins, in the uniform of the Brahmins, in the disguise as Brahmins, they are actually the Pandavas. Krishna noticed it. An entire world came to know that Pandavas are alive, they are not dead, they were not burnt. But they also came to know that it was the Karna, Duryodhana, and the Kauravas who planned to burn Pandavas. So the angry, discontentment, dislike, disrespect, not accepting Kauravas grew more and more among the public. And there was more and more respect towards Pandavas, grew among the entire public, people of the Hastinapura, in the Kaurava kingdom. Then there was meeting in Hastinapura. Bhishma, Drona, Ashwathama, Shalya, and the coterie of the four bad people, Duryodhana, Shakuni, Dushasana, and the Karna, all of them sat, even Vidura sat in front of Dhritarashtra. Elders said that Pandavas should be called back, give them their rightful half kingdom back to them. That will be a right way, righteous way, and that is the right way. It was Karna who opposed it. It was Karna who said that that's not right. And he bragged himself, saying that he can defeat, he can kill Arjuna. The elders told him, just a few days back only we were all defeated, single-handedly by Arjuna and Bhima. Not only we, they defeated, insulted entire assembly of kings and the princes. Speaking like this, bragging like this, only shows your ego. And this was the nature of the Karna, to be in the heart of Duryodhana. Somehow the Karna and Duryodhana's words were not taken, and Dhritarashtra decided to call them and handed over half of the kingdom, their rightful half of the kingdom, back to Pandavas. Pandavas were ruling. People became more happy, more confident, and the name and fame of Pandavas spread all over the land. But still, deep in the heart of the heart, Duryodhana wanted to eliminate. He wanted to rule the entire kingdom by himself. And somehow he was planning and scheming. And the situation came. Later on, we find that a dice game was played unethically, immorally, with an injustice, wrongfully, deceitfully. Pandavas were defeated, bound by the righteousness. Pandavas accepted, and they left the kingdom, as we know. But here, an important incident took place. And the incident was that of while the dice game was over and the Pandavas were Pandavas lost the battle of dice game, and then all of them became the servants in a deceitful way. And then we all knew that Draupadi was dragged into the assemblage. Karna was there. He was witnessing the whole thing from the beginning. But he never interfered, never intervened, never took any step to stop. He never advised, and he never questioned what is happening. There are others also. But Karna's role is also important. Not only not stopping, he was also happy in his heart and the mind. In the 67th and 68th chapter of the Sabha Parva, how Karna reacted to the entire incident is known. Vyasa writes that Drona, Bhishma, and others felt ashamed. But Duryodhana, Karna, Dushasana, Shakuni felt happy. And then there was a discussion regarding how the entire game was played. And when Draupadi was standing in the middle, insulted, humiliated, dragged into the assembly by Dushasana, holding her hair, she was single, unsupported, completely standing in the middle of the entire Kaurava Sabha. Then when Dushasana said that how a servant is standing in the middle, Karna appreciated Dushasana. He supported Dushasana. Then Karna instigates that Hey, Draupadi, having 5 husbands who are all became servants now, you have no option to save them and yourself. You can choose anybody here. And such a insulting words instigated Duryodhana. And as we know, he showed his thigh and asked Draupadi to come close and sit on his thigh. Karna further spoke, instigating, provoking, hinting that as the Pandavas gave up their upper cloth, Rajavastras, and became the servants, she being a prostitute, bandhaki is the word used, a prostitute of 5 husbands, whether she has a cloth or no, not having a cloth has no meaning. Duryodhana got the hint from Karna, provoked by Karna, instigated by Karna, asked Dushasana to remove the clothes of Draupadi. It was an insult which should not happen to anyone. But it was Karna who played most crooked, crude, rude, a rogue, wicked role here. And that made the entire Mahabharata into a tremendous, terrible turn. The gap between Pandavas and the Kauravas became wider. The gap can never be filled. And the rivalry, anger, revengefulness became the root. And as per the agreement, defeated by a deceitful, defeated by Shakuni, Duryodhana, in the dice game, cheated by them, Pandavas left Hastinapura. This is also an important incident which happened in Mahabharata to know Karna's mind, Karna's character, Karna's behavior towards women, and that too Yudhishthira's and the Pandavas Pattamahishi, and his behavior and his character can never be forgotten. It was a shameful and most atrocious behavior, and a talk in the speech of Karna. We also know that Vivekananda, the brother of Duryodhana, opposed the entire thing. But again, it is Karna who snubbed him, who snubbed Vivekananda, saying that being a younger, when all the elders are silent and quiet, you have no right to speak. Means when Vivekananda was speaking what is right, what is righteous, Karna opposed it. This was the true nature of Karna which was exposed, displayed, came forth in front of everybody. Entire assembly was closed with a shamefulness, and Pandavas left Hastinapura. In further episodes, we shall see how Karna behaved further and his character.